Hi there, Thomasina Williams of Sankofa Legacy Advisors, back for day 5 of my 10-day video series, inviting you to reimagine what might be possible if you choose to engage differently with your family. Day 1 was December 27th, my birthday, where the invitation was to do just that, to reimagine what might be possible if you choose to engage differently. Day 2, the invitation was to reflect on who might you need to become in order to engage differently? What traits or characteristics might you need to bring forward? Day 3, the invitation was to reflect on where in your body do you feel discomfort as it relates to engaging with your family? And then day 4, the invitation was to think about what are the factual context in which you end up feeling discomfort in your body as it relates to thinking about engaging with your family. And based upon those different factual contexts, what are the patterns that you can see? Patterns are very important, as I mentioned at the end of video 4. There are 4 patterns that humans will instinctively, unconsciously, automatically resort to when there's tension as a way to ease that discomfort. I would venture to guess that whatever patterns you were able to discern in the factual context that arise for you, they probably fall into one of those 4 categories. Today's category is triangles. Triangles happen all the time, everywhere. They only become a challenge when they are uh, based upon anxiety or tension in a relationship. If two people have some kind of discomfort, it might be something like an out and out conflict, or it can just be a mild uneasiness. If they don't address that issue, then without thinking about it, without doing it intentionally, one or both of them will reach out and engage a third party. Our first triangle is with our parents. Think about it. When you were a child, if you would ask your mom for a cookie and mom would say no, then you'd go ask your dad, or vice versa. That was your first triangle. Triangles also happen when there's discomfort in a relationship between a couple and they don't address that underlying issue. They may not be conscious of it, generally are not conscious of it. They tend, though, to project onto the child and focus on the child rather than their own relationship. A couple of other quick examples. I have a client who's a grandmother. Her granddaughter did not do what she was supposed to do to get on campus housing for college. She missed the deadline. So the college was going to put her in housing that was off campus and quite a distance from campus. Her mother was, frankly, using this as an opportunity to teach her a lesson. Her mom said, "No, I'm not going to pay for housing for you near campus. You need to learn to be responsible and pay attention to deadlines or suffer the consequences." So, what did the young lady do? She called my client, her grandmother, explained the situation, including the fact that she'd already talked to her mom and her mom had told her no. But her grandmother agreed to pay for housing near campus. Her grandmother inserted herself into the tension between the young lady and her mom. That is an anxious triangle. Another example, I have a client who has 2 children, a daughter who she's very close to. She has a good relationship with her son, but is not nearly as close to him as she is to her daughter. Rather than asking her son what he thinks or what is happening in his life, she habitually asks the daughter, inserting the daughter between the two of them rather than having the conversation directly. Those are anxious triangles. Frankly, clients will use professionals like myself, or they will attempt with me. I don't engage in that, but they will sometimes use professionals rather than talking, for example, about their estate planning. They will have the trust and estates attorney to share with their children what's in their will, what the estate plans are for them upon the client's death. Another example of a triangle. Anytime you don't want to have a conversation with someone and you are getting someone else to do that for you, that is a triangle. Anytime that there is some tension in a relationship, and rather than address that tension, you focus on something else, that is a triangle. So today's invitation is to think about, where are the anxious triangles that you're involved in? What conversations are you avoiding? Where have you reached out to someone else to intervene between you and another family member? And then once you've identified those triangles, think about what you can proactively do to disrupt those triangles and to actually have the conversation that you need to have to address the issues that you know you need to address. That's it for today, day 5 triangles. I'll be back tomorrow with the second pattern that we'll focus on. Until then,